Skill 1, Points, Lines, and Planes. We're going to go into examples on how to name points, lines, and planes. So given the picture at the right here, we have a plane, and we want to just describe the plane in different ways. So for question A, what are other ways to name line RS? Okay, so we're looking for just other names for it. So that would be line L, or we could call it QS, line QS, and then we have to have a line symbol above it. Or it could be RQ, or we could call it SR, or we would have SQ, or QR. So all of those ways are ways to say the same line. For part B, what are other ways to name plane P? Okay, so now we're starting to name a plane, so we need at least 3 points. So we have plane P, plane RVS, we have plane QVS, and plane RVQ, or any combination. Okay, so now we want to know what are the names of 3 collinear points. So that's 3 points that all lie on a single line. So what I see is the first line is RQS, so that means R, Q, and S are collinear. Also, we have T, Q, and N that are also aligned. So T, Q, and N are also collinear. All right, and finally, what are 2 points that are not coplanar with R, S, and V? So 2 points that are not on the plane, R, S, V. So we have R, S, and V. So we want 2 points that are not on that plane. Well, that's obviously this one not on the plane and this one not on the plane. So T and N are not coplanar. With R, S, and V. For these next examples, we're going to use this line D, E, F, that line right there. And we're going to name different segments and rays incorporated with this line. So we want to know what are the segments in this figure. So there's several segments, and we can say all the letters multiple ways. So first we have segment DE. We can also call that segment ED. Okay, then we have segment DF, and we could also call that segment FD. They're the same segment. Or we have the segment EF, or the segment FE. So those are the different possibilities of just segments on this line. For part B, we want to know what are the names of the rays in the figure. So again, rays can go multiple directions. You just have to note what the end point is, and then that's how you start. So the first one, we have ray D, because we're going to start at the D and then go that direction, DE. But we also have ray DF, because we could go to the next point. So the next one is we have E as our end point, and we could go towards the F, so EF. Or we have ray E, and we could go towards the D. So we have ED. And then finally we have the ray F starting at the endpoint F and then going to the E, or ray FD. Those are the possible rays in this line. And for part C, which of these rays in part B are both opposite rays? So that means they create a line and the rays go the opposite directions. So that would be starting here at E and going that way, and then starting here at E and going that way. So that would be ray EF and ray ED are opposite rays. And that's what you can answer about that line right there. Example 3, we're going to find the intersection of two planes. So a plane is a flat surface that extends forever, and when they intersect, it creates a line of some sort. So what is the intersection of plane ACD and plane BFG? So ACD, so this plane on top, and where is that intersecting? BFG. So BFG, so that's this plane right here. So the two points that form the line it's intersecting are right here. So that is line BC, or you could call it line CB. It doesn't matter which one's first because it's a line. So for this next one, we are going to be given a line BF, and we want to know what planes that intersects. So we have the line BF. BF is right here because this is B and this is my F. Okay, so the two planes that is this plane BFG, and the other plane that intersects there is this plane over here, BFE, or AEF, or any one of those. So those are the two planes that form the line BF. For these last examples, we're going to show how to use postulate 4. So don't forget that postulate 4, it says through any three non-collinear points there is exactly one plane. So we're going to be drawing a plane. Okay, so for this first one, what plane contains N, P, and Q? So N, P, and Q are right there. So the plane that it's going to be is the bottom plane. So if I were to shade that plane, it would be right here on the very bottom. All right, now the next one we're going to find is what plane contains the points J, M, and Q. J, M, and Q. Okay, so this one is going to cut diagonally across the rectangular prism. So what that one's going to look like is kind of come from here down to the P, over to the Q, up to the M, and then over. So that is the plane that you're looking for there. So that would be how you would shade a three-dimensional plane. So those are your notes over Skill 1, Points, Lines, and Planes. Summarize your notes. Make sure you understand what all these examples are talking about and all the definitions and the postulates. Go through some of the practice problems to make sure you understand how to do all these different types of things, and then you should be ready for your quiz over this material.